Habit formation requires constant practice or repetition of a particular behavior in order to achieve an established routine. There are a variety of strategies to do so. Some have already been mentioned at the start. So let's try and just summarize them in 5 bullet points. And they are: the first one, to accept and adapt. Find a way, bridging the gap between coping during the challenging situation and the development of a new routine. The second one, discarding old methods. New challenging situations need new response patterns. Plan the responses and then try and understand what will work in such situations and what will not. If old tried and tested methods don't work, you try again and use new approaches that will eventually become the new response. There is going to be a trial and error period, but that's what developing a whole routine entails. The third point, you upgrade your skills. Look at what new skills can be learned or what old skills can be brushed up on. Look at it as a short-term goal that is required to serve a long-term goal in order to try and achieve a steady new routine or a new behavior pattern that can be used as a response to a challenging situation. To give you an example, say you're upgrading your CV to find a new job or a better job. Look at what are the skills you need to upgrade or brush up on in a short period that will serve the long-term goal of you getting a better job or working on a better or a desired project. The fourth one, this is something that I strongly endorse because it has helped me personally. Talk to people, let them in. Sometimes sharing problems with people does not make you vulnerable or open to ridicule. Try and build a social group. In this situation, with people who are like-minded or have faced similar situations before or have had years of experience to different situations, different challenging situations in life. Letting people in and sharing your concerns with the aim of trying to seek a solution may not necessarily always give you a direct answer, but it will build your ability to think from a multi-dimensional perspective whilst problem solving or decision making. And the fifth, a very important one, to be aware, to tune in to what is current and is happening in your surroundings. Our environment is dynamic, and hence it's important that we constantly adapt, discard old methods and develop new methods. We upgrade our skills and be connected to people for professional and personal growth. This is basically a summary of what we've just discussed. And being aware is an important aspect that ties in all these skills that we discussed earlier. To be in tune with what's actually happening around us. So since we have discussed so much about establishing a new routine, let's try out an activity as a takeaway from this talk. Now, the 5 portions a day, the 5 food portions a day, where we are asked to have a balanced diet and eat the right proportions of food, is something that's very popular. Be it your fruit and veg, your canned food, and so on. All of us are aware of it, but are we also aware of the 5 steps to mental health and well-being? Some of you may be aware of that, and some of you may not be aware. So I shall just quickly go over it for you. So here are the 5 steps to mental health and well-being. This is also available on the gov.uk or the NHS websites, if you have a look at them. So the 5 steps being, the first one is connect. Connect with people around you. Second, being physically active. It could be yoga, it could be putting a yoga mat in the back of your garden, a quick run in the local park, doing Zumba or dancing to music, or even playing football or cricket with your mates or with your kids. Being physically active. The third one, learning new skills. Again, going back to what we discussed previously, learning something new, trying a new recipe, trying to bake something new, learning to, I don't know, maintain a garden, doing some DIY, or even learning a new language. These are additional skills that not only help you acquire or help you learn something new, but it also does great things to boost one's self-confidence. Fourth, give to others. Being part of a community. Well, today, thanks to social media, we can connect with our friends and family, and despite us staying in different time zones. Whilst too much of social media and technology is slated to be harmful, why not pick up the positive bits and use it to our benefit? So there you go, given to others and connect. So there you go, connecting the fourth point with the first one that we discussed. And the fifth one, pay attention to the present moment, being aware of time. Try not to stay a lot in the past. Past is something that we can't rectify. Try to not plan too much for the future. It's about trying to bring about an equilibrium and managing one's expectations, and be aware of the dynamic environment we're a part of. Be present in the present. So these are our 5 steps. And now on to a second activity. So let's try and divide these 5 steps into 5 columns. I shall quickly share the screen with you again so that you have an idea of how to do it. So there you go. We shall try and make 5 columns, and we put the 5 steps of mental well-being in 5 columns. And on the left-hand side, as you can see, you can list down the dates. And the one thing that we can do is to try and see if we manage, how many do we manage to tick on a daily basis. So say today is 3rd of April, and what I think I have done today from these 5 steps is I think I've managed to connect with a lot of people thanks to social media, thanks to technology. I'm able to record this video and we can play it across so that I can connect to a lot of people. But I think I have been physically active today on the 3rd of April. I did my yoga. I put out my yoga mat in the garden and I did a bit of yoga for myself. Now, an important thing to remember when we are doing this is to try and see how many of the 5 steps can we tick on a particular day. Don't worry about if you're not able to tick all 5 on a particular day, or if you have done only 1. Maybe today you might tick 1, tomorrow you might tick all 4, the day after you might tick just 2. But the whole idea is to ensure that you're able to tick at least 1 box or 1 step from the 5 mentioned. So that's an activity that I hope you can try it out at home. See how many of the 5 steps you can take in a day for a few days till it becomes a routine. There is a myth, a belief, a popular folklore that suggests that it takes 21 days to establish a behavior pattern. Don't give up till you try at least 21 times. Well, I'm not sure if there is a scientific evidence, or even if there is, there are a lot of mixed reviews to this. However, for this activity, we can use the whole 21-day as a benchmark to observe and record how much progress has been made from day one of when you start to the 21st day. For all you know, the routine establishment might take more than 21 days, or it may take less than that. However, it provides a great starting point for measurement of one's progress. Everything depends on the nature and on the size of what an individual wishes to achieve. Your habit or goal that needs to be established or accomplished. As I wrap up, something that I would like to share that has worked personally for me is to focus on the process rather than worry about achieving your goal. Goals and situations, what we wish to achieve, can keep changing with time. What's important is to focus on the process or the journey to get to the goal. The best part about focusing on a process is that it can be adapted to different situations based on the situation and goal changes. All of us have our own journey. In today's day and age of social media, we are very tempted to follow life paths of people who appear successful. The measure of success also differs. For example, again, we all have cars at home, we all drive cars, most of us do at least. Sometimes we might even end up buying the same car as the second person. That person might be very successful or might not be that as successful as we expect. Anyway, there is a similarity of both of you having the same cars. However, the car registrations are still different, and the purpose for what the car is used on a daily basis will also differ. Mental resilience is about trying to find your path and sticking to it despite the temptation we encounter in the form of an easier route. The route may be easy, but may not necessarily serve your purpose. We all have our own routes that we need to identify. We all have our own journeys. Find your route and find your purpose. You only fail when you stop trying or when you give up. I hope this has been a beneficial session to you, and I wish everyone all the very best. Thank you.